In the beginning, there was nothing. Nothing, at least, but a minuscule, highly compressed, flea-sized ball of energy. Consisting of purely spiritual energy, this ball created life from within. Originating from an ancient archetypal bang, our universe was created 46 trillion years ago. A universe is also called a creation or a universal consciousness, of which exists 10 to the 49th power within a much larger universe. 44,500 billion years ago, the first solid matter came into existence. 39 trillion years ago, the first hominid life forms were formed. 40,353,607 original human races with 343 different shapes, sizes and skin type variations were created. Billions of races now exist in the creation. It's been 810 billion years since the Milky Way was formed of gas. Our galaxy produced the first human forms on the oldest planets about 9 to 12 million years ago, with a further 1 million years passing before these forms could truly be designated human. It now has 7.5 million human civilizations. A solar system is defined as a large body with smaller objects that rotate around it. Sol is a central sun with a whole system of linked subsystems. It's in the outermost realms of a spiral arm forming an enclave, making it one of the oldest systems in the galaxy. It's around 5 billion years old. Yet, based upon when it first became a ball of matter, the Sun itself is 1,730 billion years old. It takes 300 million years for Sol to make one rotation of the Milky Way. It's been 646 billion years since Earth was formed of gas, molecules, atomic particles and quarks. Over the course of time, they came together and solidified, flew apart, came together, solidified, and so on, until finally everything was bound together in such a way that about 46 billion years ago, the solid body of Earth began to form. About 5 billion years ago, Earth was so hard and solid that slowly life developed on it. First, only seas of lava, and then, in the course of time, the very first and unprimitive life in the form of lichenoid plant life developed. There are spheres of energy of different types and strengths that circle the Earth at different distances and intervals. They are very important for the maintenance of life here. In order for humans to appear, 6 other realms must first be in place here. We are therefore the highest forms in creation. Subject to a natural evolution, human spirit forms further develop themselves, evolving for between 60 to 80 trillion years. Evolving from life to life, we have a death cycle in order to develop very much later into a purely spiritual form, where that need for a material life no longer exists. This pure spiritual form, together with others at this level, then develops the next creation. Through this creativity of creation, we are already equipped with spirit forms, which are in turn already equipped with the required knowledge and all of the wisdom of that pertinent level. There are 7 stages of a human spirit's evolution. The average Earth human is at the stages of reasoned life. Usually, a planet creates one race of human, i.e. one skin type, and what's more, the relative age of the spirits are very similar. The majority of humans on Earth have spirits that were not originally formed here. There are many races on Earth with much history, but summatively and chronologically, the first 3 races who came to Earth were the red, brown and white ones about 22 million years ago, after the Destroyer a vast comet had destroyed their planets in the Lyran home systems. Yet these groups can also be traced to Mars and Malona, and further back to the Sirius regions. Genetically manipulated and unusually aggressive, they blew up Sol's fourth planet Malona by diverting parts of an ocean into the subterranean underwater magma chambers of a gigantic volcano. Sol's system's asteroid belts contains fragments of this former planet, whose orbit was originally located where Mars orbits the Sun today, and Mars where the asteroid belt is today. This position reversal was caused by immense upheavals of this same destroyer comet as in the Lyran systems. The ones of other races only then came much later to Earth, as well as the Colossi, giants, titans, and approximately 40 centimetre tall dwarf beings, who, about 21,000 years ago, settled on the shores of the Sonora Lakes, located roughly where Switzerland is today, and living there until the embankment broke in the western part of the lake and everything was washed away. Black people established themselves in the land which today is the continent of Africa, from where they then spread out further, some to Australia, New Zealand, and others to various other locations. Asian people are the youngest inhabitants of the Earth, because their appearance on this planet was only little more than one cosmic age ago, seemingly exactly 25,978 years ago. They came here from the planet Nisan, in the neighbourhood of Lassan in the Lyra system. They came to the Lyra system and to Nisan 2,400,000 years ago, having to emigrate as a consequence of overpopulation. Also, spirits formed naturally here on Earth over this time. Monkeys were actually the result of a coupling between early existing humans, degenerated descendants of earlier extraterrestrials, and another animal. The intermediate mutations, partly human being, partly monkey, are known as Africanus and Neanderthals. 4 different kinds of these mutations still exist on Earth and live in isolated or very small groups. They are so wild and timid that humans will rarely ever see them. They have become known as Yeti. The force of the creation is not only cosmic, but the force of all life and existence in all universes. It is neutral, creates life over every creature, and above all is the creation, which is neutral to every creation and event in the universe. The creation is the creation of all that is. Over 7 great times, creation creates life in numerous forms, over and over again, incessantly. Once life is created, then it is left to itself with a life's mission to develop itself. Each form of life is subject to change in the progress of evolution in order to collect knowledge and truth. Negative and positive forces are changed towards balance, and with that towards the force and durability of life. The way of evolution is very long and troublesome. It is also determined by many outside influences. This is especially true with respect to influences of similar creatures exercising forces toward a single form of life. This can only be mastered by living through great lengths of time and experiencing lessons that result in understanding and recognition. This way of evolution is the same for higher and the highest forms of life, as well as the lower and lowest forms of life. This is a creational law of evolution, which is valid for all time and is never subject to change. The natural cosmic laws establish a uniform and harmonic development that encompasses all concerns at all levels that are able to evolve. This means that the spiritual as well as the material development constantly proceeds in harmony with one another and always in complete unison with each other, in consequence with all matters. For a long time, humans have undertaken great efforts to find peace and liberty, but all of their efforts vanished without bearing fruit, because of the loss of real knowledge and truth in a sound and reasonable way of life, which would bring inner poise and calmness. Mankind has accepted abnormal ideologies, imperishable, dangerous and harmful religious philosophies, which lead them into even greater spiritual poverty. Natural human reason defends itself against false religious dogmas and demands the truth, but dogmas have flourished into existence by new religious leaders and deceivers, and religious delusion is spread too far in order to put up a useful defense. The monstrous confusions and delusional claims of wrongful religious philosophies lower the inner force in human beings that would maintain the spirit and assist in bringing inner peace in proportion to outward achievements.